Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents The Corner Bookstore, hosted by Red O'Loughlin. Step into a world where every story inspires. These pages come to life through the voices of authors from around the globe. Written by our global community of TV show hosts and best-selling authors, these works span genres, generations, and geographies, united by the power of storytelling. Discover your next favorite book and meet the minds behind the work. Thursdays, only on USA Global TV and Radio.
Howdy, you all. Red O'Loughlin here. We're on the Corner Bookstore on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. When I'm not doing TV shows, and today is the first of three, I have three back-to-back on Thursdays every week, the Corner Bookstore being the first. When I'm not doing hosting, I am a researcher. I research the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat symptoms. Yeah, it may feel better, but the cause is still there. I also publish books for people, help people get their books written, and just have a good time as much as I can every single day. Our guest today is Michelle Ferguson. Michelle Ferguson, the author, not Michelle Ferguson, the actress, just to make sure we have that clear up the very, very front. So Michelle Ferguson, the author, please join me up here on stage.
Good afternoon, Red. Pleasure to be here.
Have you gotten confused very often with Michelle Ferguson, the actress?
Not yet, but maybe after this I will be. No, kidding aside.
I certainly hope so.
I hope
anyway,
so too.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
So that would be a good publicity for me, right?
Is that why you chose CS Moi for your website rather than just Michelle Ferguson?
That's a great question. So why I use C'est moi for my website, because I'm learning French. And also when I Google Michelle Ferguson, there's a lot of Michelle Ferguson. So it's my passion for the French language. And it's also easier. So there's only one. When you Google C'est moi Michelle Ferguson, it's just me. So voila, that was the reason.
Okay, so you have a couple books out. You've been an author a little bit. So we're going to talk down that road as we're going along. You also have some very interesting story that you want to share on cancer, and we're going to talk about that. And so why don't we just start out with writing? Writing came a little bit late in your life. How long did it take you to write your first book?
The first book, it actually started with Jerry and I were undergoing the cancer treatment, but it really brings into fruition after Jerry's passing. So Jerry passed in October of 2021. And I published the book on May of 2023, so plus or minus 24 months. And so yeah, it helps me heal, and it also brings the story that if it happens to us, it might be other couples that were diagnosed with cancer 6 months apart. And if our story would help others, that there's always something to be grateful for, despite of the situation, how difficult it is, then we leave the place better than we found it.
Okay, why don't we go straight to the cancer story first, and we'll come back and catch a little bit about the writing. So tell us a little bit about Jerry's cancer and your cancer and your caregiving and experiences.
Okay, so I'll start with Jerry's cancer. Jerry's cancer came early. He was diagnosed in February of 2019, and it was stage 4 esophageal cancer with brain metastasis. He had 2 tumors on his brain, so our oncologist team decided to take care of the brain first. Then, after that, we'll go for the treatment with the esophageal cancer. My cancer was actually 6 months after. So, through all those that he had a back-to-back brain surgery, less than 1 month apart from each other, and then the radiation for the brain, and then the chemotherapy. And while I was undergoing my normal with mammogram checkup, that my doctor said that I have to come back. And when you get that news that you have to come back, there's only two things, right? So I always remember it while everybody was celebrating the 4th of July on 2019. I received the news that I also have a breast cancer. I mean, I have a cancer. It was a breast cancer. So uh, that was also during COVID. So that's a little bit adding a little bit of a challenge because we live in Massachusetts and Jerry's family is in Missouri. My family is back in PI in Philippines, and we have friends here that turns to become our family also by choice or family by heart. But because of COVID, it creates a little bit of a challenge of helping. So we were joking it around because Jerry has this Midwest sense of humor also. And guys are like, we are really literally in this together, sweetie. Like, and what cancer brought us is that those 2.5 years that I was caring for Jerry until his last breath, it brings our love more stronger. It also, there was no stones left unturned as far as the subject we talk about. We both created, and funny, I talk it in my book, we both created a survival kit. So my survival kit with Jerry, because aside my first career is I'm a financial advisor, so I have this survival kit for Jerry, what to do with the finances when I'm gone, how many debt certificate he needs to produce, to go through this, going to the bank, etc., etc. And him, on the other hand, he has a survival kit for me, living in Cape Cod, and during autumn and winter, we get this blizzard and everything, and we sometimes lost power, or often than that. And he has this thing like, "What would you do, Michelle, if you lose power? How you open your garage when there's no electricity?" And now that I think of it, uh, 2 weeks after he passed away, we had a blizzard, and the garage didn't open. So I was going to my survival kit with my flashlight and laughing a little bit and crying because he did that for me. And so those were the things that I'm sharing in my book, in my first book, and even in my second book, also this coming next month, that, life can throw you curveballs, but it's really how you perceive things. And practicing gratitude helps me focus on what I have instead of what's missing.
So as a caregiver, you were challenged not only with just caring emotionally, physically, et cetera, for your husband, but you also had your own cancer to worry about. My wife had breast cancer about 10 years ago, and I was a caregiver for her for literally about a year through chemo and radiation and everything. And so I understand a lot about that. I also understand that when you're a caregiver and you give everything to the other person, you generally don't take as good a care of yourself as you should. I had a couple experiences that where I was not paying attention to my own needs and things happened, but he didn't make it. You survived. You wrote a couple books, and we're kind of here now in the book world. So you took about 2 years to write the first book. Uh, Tell me a little bit about the lessons you learned in the process of writing the book, since it's more of a memoir than it is a fiction or nonfiction. It's just a real close to home kind of book.
Yeah, yeah, that's really right. And before I answer your question, is I hope your wife is okay. And he,
Oh, she did well. She had her. Yeah, it's one of those ones where you could feel a lump, and then 10 minutes later you couldn't,
yeah,
and next day maybe, next day maybe not. So we went this way for almost a year, that we couldn't really, and then finally we get to the point. Okay, I can feel it more than once in a 10-minute period. So we went and got the doctor to do a biopsy, and so yes, it was stage two, and so she went in, had a lumpectomy, and boom, chemo, radiation, because it went to two lymph nodes. And then a year later, got a full clearance from the doctor. In fact, a year after her surgery, walked the Camino de Santiago, which is a 500-mile pilgrimage across Spain. It was her gratitude, her thankfulness tour for full recovery from cancer, and every single checkup that she gets now, which is literally about every 6 months, everything is 100%. We're in really, really good shape. So those are things we're very, very grateful for. But yes, I'm a little familiar with that end of things.
oh, I'm happy to hear about that for your wife. So, going through the process of writing, it's a bittersweet. It reminds because there are so many nights that I even cried, and nights that sometimes laughing. Like if my four-legged son Spike would talk, it's like, oh my God, Mama, you are crazy, because all these emotions come to surface. And I'll be honest, also I feel anger while I was writing as well. Those emotions come to surface. And but again, practicing gratitude keeps me dialed back in, because I've been practicing gratitude even before cancer. It's part of my life. I do yoga. So it helps me grounded, but it was a challenge also because first of all, writing it in English. I grew up in Philippines, although I learned here so all this grammatical structure and stuff, but the emotions really come to surface. And a lot of questions like how come, what it happened, that I'm being really raw and real here, that because we dream of life together and it was cut short. And so it was really emotional roller coaster ride. And I get the strength when funny I get the strength because I recorded some of Jerry's during the treatment. We really love documenting things, and thanks to the mobile thing, you could just take videos. And he was it was actually his idea before to write a book, because it's like, our story might inspire others. And one day when we had at Mogar Cancer Center here in Cape, and he was doing his treatment and I was working beside him, and one of the nurses said, oh, you're so cute cancer couple, because it's the middle of winter and we were wearing scarf and everything. So we recorded that away. So when I was going through the materials of my writing, it just makes me laugh. It brings back memories. And then at the end, when I was finally finishing my book, like, Jerry died in my arms. We shared our last kiss. How many people or couples, I'm so fortunate and blessed enough that I've always wanted to spend the rest of my life with him, but I'm humbled that his last breath he shared with me. And him preparing me, because as I was going through the process of writing the book, I found some notes. When I go to the side of his garage, there are some post-it there. So the whole time, even if he was gone October of 2021, the next month was my birthday, and maybe he did it with some of my friends. A backpack counted, and it's like, here's for new adventures. So I put that in my book. So all of these things, that he might not be here physically with me, and I believe in science and faith that he's guiding me through it and through that book as well. So it's a sleepless nights. There's sometimes that I'm crying, laughing, yelling, shouting for the anger and letting it go, acknowledging the emotion, journalizing it, and then going back to the writing.
How about editing? How did that work out for you?
Let me tell you the story editing. So the first version that I sent, so first of all, I self-published my first book, right? So you know the drill. It's a little bit of a challenge and stuff. So I sent it to I Google like who will be the editor, blah blah blah, and then it was really, so I finished actually the book. So I started in like 2021, so the book was finished around 2022. The editing goes for another year. So May of 2022 until beginning of 2023, that was the editing back and forth. And because and I have a good relationship with editor, but it was a little bit of a challenge because of the I want to really write it from me, and it's really, my story, and the Filipino flair, the European culture, and saying and said, oh, you have to do this like this, but we find a medium, and so that's why it takes a little bit longer. But I don't know, maybe it's the norm. I don't know. I learning from doing.
I don't know that there is a norm. We've had some people on here that the editing process, and again, if it's a children's book and it's 40 pages, that's different than a novel that's 500 pages. So the editing processes are really different. If all you're doing is grammar and diction and syntax and spelling, that's different than plot and location and character development and everything. So the editing processes are different for each author. It also depends on the experience. If you've written 7 or 8 books, it's a little different in the process. I use a lot of the word read back to me so I can see it, but I can also hear it at the same time. I also have friends come over to the house and I hand out random chapters and red pen, and I say, if it doesn't make sense, you're lost, circle it. So I get different sets of eyes to look at things too. So there's a lot of different ways of going.
Yeah. And now that you mention it, because the original manuscript, so to speak, but there was actually Jerry's version, my version, like a kind of our memoir. But unfortunately, he didn't finish his. So I was trying to finish his at the ending. But like men are from women are from Venus. So Jerry's version of the cancer, like how the dimension of his mask, like it's really like technical. So that my editor's like, "Are you writing to the Harvard medical school?" Because like it's really like so like you have to have the flair. So then when I have to rewrite it and then edit it, like it's just really me and still have Jerry's voice, it becomes more of a challenging. And I want him to still have his voice. So like when he said to me like speaking about learning French, right? So he was telling me like, oh, you should promise me that, before, and he even choose one of my French instructor at the time. And then he said like, and then you go to France and whatever. And if you fall in love again. And I said, what am I going to do? I'm dead anyway, sweetie. And I want to have that voice because he was writing that. So I want to have it in the A Love Like Ours when I was already doing it in my own. So that was kind of a tricky to have that because it's a lot funnier when it was his voice than me quoting him. So that was kind of the tweaking part. And then we have to rearrange the chapters also because, it was his and hers. And now it's just like me telling our story. So it's kind of a way I should say that I had to rewrite the whole book to just coming from me. So that was, but it turns out to be okay. And it helps me really heal also. And it helps me, I felt really blessed and grateful to have the love that we shared.
When you're doing a self-publishing, self-writing everything, you've already known that the editing process is a little bit bigger task than normal. You got your book published. When did you start marketing it, and how did you start that program?
I never really start marketing it until maybe like 8 months ago. So really like marketing in a real sense of marketing. So I did a little bit of marketing. Like I go to the different book library here in Cape Cod. So I do an author's talk. And then I just make it grow like having my website and putting it out there. But even my website, I did it last year. So everything was just through my personal Facebook page. And then later on, it was actually when I was in Greece that one of the pastors talking about faith, right? I was waiting for my plane ride back to Boston, and she had the book. She actually had A Love Like Ours book. And I even posted in the Facebook, like, what coincidence. And I asked her why she had that book, because she noticed me in this book, there's a photo of me. So it's so I asked her about it, and she said that her aunt bought it and gave it to her because her mom, the reason she's back in Greece, because her mom is diagnosed with breast cancer. And that was really kind of ding, 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 aha moment for her, because for me, when I did publish the book, it was just really for me to release my story, to honor Jerry's wishes also because he wants to have the book, and also to, again, that if someone could get benefit about our story, that not to be help them navigate challenges of having cancer, then we've done our part. And so when that thing said, maybe I could really do some marketing into it. So I reached out with some of my friends and that are doing some marketing. And that's where I started and more into talking and having also going into more authors virtual talk as well because of the distance and stuff.
We're getting ready to go to a commercial break here very quickly. It's about a minute, minute and a half. And when we come back, I want to continue on down the road. Let's start looking at your second book and other aspects of your social media and things. So we're going to go ahead and go to a break, and we'll be right back.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful: The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Randall Laughlin here. We're on the Corner Bookstore on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And my guest today is the author, Michelle Ferguson. Michelle, please join us again. Michelle, you have the book there. It took a little while to get it, your website, get everything going. What social media are you on, and how do you hype your book on the social media?
So I'm both in Instagram and in Facebook. So it's Simwa, Michelle Ferguson. So how I get my book through social media, so I make sure now that I consistently post. So it's really about the book and my gratitude practice. So at least 3 times a week or 4 times I'm doing that. And also in my website, I also post like the upcoming events, and there are some photos from the last Authors Talk event that I did. I also have in my website my upcoming book, a little bit about me, who I'm from. I also, and then just 2 months ago, I started a LinkedIn page for my authors thing as well. So it's organic growth, and and when they click, when they contact me, I sent. I'm starting. I did it, but now I'm consistently. So it's about repetition, right? So when they click or contact me and they put their email, and if they will subscribe, they will get a monthly gratitude practice that I shared. So basing on, because my second book, each chapter has an exercise for reflection as well as gratitude. And then the last part of the book is that what I was, and still is, I shouldn't say that, because grief comes just like a wave, or just like a rain, right? Hot, cold. And so it's a cycle. It's part of life. And there are some triggers. And during the time, and actually I should say, I could even back it a little bit. My grief actually started when Jerry was diagnosed. Because when those words were saying to me that you have stage 4 esophageal cancer, you don't need a medical degree to sink into you that your lives that you plan is no longer going to be the same. And then plus when they said right away that it's going to have a brain surgery back to back, so the grief starts there. And you know why I said that? Because Jerry's short-term memories, because part of the tumor on his brain, he had a short-term memory loss. So I even joke it around. He would say like, "Oh, I'm so glad I met you before my brain tumor because I remember you." And he would laugh out loud. So now I'm laughing out loud just repeating him. So, but the grief really starts there because I see the pieces and pieces of Jerry gone, and I've seen the pieces and pieces of the life that we plan ahead, including the travels that we're gonna do. All the pins in the map here that I have to do it on my own, or someone, it will not be us anymore. I mean, it's physically. So that's where the grief starts. So I created, like, I named my grief, I wrote it down. So I shared it to one of my friends that's in the um, mental health field, and he said maybe you should document it more. So the last chapter of, or the exercise of the grief, grace, and gratitude is really like a workbook about how the grace, grief, and gratitude transformed me to be. I didn't know how resilient I was until that situation happened to me. So that's it.
Did you use AI at all in any part of your process?
I used the AI for the when I did my own marketing and started. I used AI to kind of give me, so can you edit this, because again it's not. But with the book, really no, because one thing that I do, and it's been this, and I thank my grandma for it, is that when there's some kind of ideas, I really journal. Like I do diary. Oh my God, like dear diary, blah blah blah. And then now that with all these things, if I have some concept, or I heard something, or I'm listening to podcast, and oh my God, I could use that. So I stop the podcast, I go to my cell phone, and then I record myself. So then I have all those materials that and so I didn't. I mean, I don't use AI for that one. I guess my the AI will be confused with all my emotions and my accent.
Uh, how about audios? If you have audiobooks planned?
I do have an audiobook plan. It was put in the back burner. Supposed to have the audiobook plan for the A Love Like Ours, but things get into the way. So I'm planning to do that. I'm planning to do it on my own voice, because I think I have to practice the intonation. Because when I get excited, I talk so fast. But my project is mid of next year. I will have the audiobook of A Love Like Ours first.
How do you solve the problem of cover art, your front and back pages and stuff?
Sorry?
The cover art for your books, the front cover, the back cover.
Oh, so the front cover of my book. So this one, I be honest, I use Canva. So I have Canva and promoting Canva. So I use Canva for the front of the book, like what kind of the design. But then it was then I tweak it a little bit of having Jerry and my hands holding. So that's like, so Canva, and then like, because with Canva you could put that so for the A Love Like Ours, at the back cover of the A Love Like Ours, it's really what I quote myself. So there was really no back cover page. I mean, it's like my wordings or my notes. So I put it there, and then of course I SBM. With my second book, because I learned from my first mistake, not mistake, I learned from my first endeavor. So words matter. So it's a learning experience. So I have a marketing and it's they call it a hybrid publishing, that they will do the editing for me, and they will also do the marketing and the cover page. So I told them what I would like the book cover would be. And so we have it, because being in Cape Cod, so it's the footprints, it's the beach with the footprints in the sand. And because we don't have a kid, we have a four-legged son named Spike. So with a paw also. So it's the footprints of a human being and a paw with in the beach. So that's the cover for the second book. And they did that already for me. They asked me what I envision would be the cover, and within also taking into consideration all the chapters of the book.
Why don't you hold the book up so we can all see the cover?
Oh, this is for the A Love Like Ours. This is the first one, and this, yeah, and that's all. Well.
Now, you also have plans to put this book into a foreign language?
Absolutely. So, and this is what Jerry's thinks. So when he stopped having his chemo treatment, he said to myself, you have to find a good distraction for you, because you're stage 1A, I'm stage 4. So rules of, it will be me that goes first. So he said, why won't you start learning French? So that was literally July of 2021. I said that, why won't you start learning French? So he went through all these things. So I did have a French instructor one-on-one, and he chose the French instructor even. So, and they said, promise me that you will really see it through. It's not like you're just going this. And that's actually, I would say that one of the gifts that Jerry keeps on giving, because through the French language, it opened doors as well to new friendship. I go back to France when I can. And I even have, so like, I have family by choice there, also by heart. And in return, they help me write the French version of A Love Like Ours, and help me also keep the promise that I made to Jerry and I made to myself, that before I turn 50, which will be next month, that I will be able to speak French as good as my English, carry the conversation, and also write the book in French. So on November 29, 2 days, 2 days after my birthday, there will be the book launch of the French version of A Love Like Ours.
Fantastic. I think you're the one of the first people that had, not the first. I've had a couple, but very, very few that have books in multiple languages. So that's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So now you have a book launch coming up. Tell us about that.
So the book launch coming up is in November. I thank you. Like, so it's the Grace, Grief, and Gratitude. And on November 8th, I'm doing like 4 back-to-back online, and it's also it will be available in Amazon. And what I'm doing that because it will help me also connect with any of you that will support me, my friends across the globe. That if you click that, so it's also helped me with the algorithms with the Amazon. So with that book launch, it will be the Kindle that will be available first. And throughout this, I'm doing like a pulse check, like at 9 a.m. That's when it will start live. So 9 a.m., 12 noon, and it's all East Coast time. So 9 a.m., 12 noon, 4 p.m., and then 9 p.m. East Coast. I will do a live on Facebook, and because I could see the purchases and stuff. And then I will do a draw that anyone that supports me in my endeavor will also get a copy, the signed copy of A Love Like Ours and the Grace, Grief, and Gratitude. And so and then some fun prizes. So I'll make it fun. So that's a 4 set of different polls checked in, and it's from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Through the Amazon promo launch. And I learned that from my marketing, from the hybrid publishing that I with global publishing right now that I am in, that they encouraged me that should be the way, so that you could build excitement and everything. And then a week after that, the hard copy as well as the paperback and the hard copy will be available. I have to think. Sorry, my French brain is starting to kick in.
Okay, so you have an electronic version, ebook, you have a
Yeah.
paperback, and you also have a hardcover book.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And an audiobook is coming.
An audiobook is coming, yes. So the audiobook will come first for the Love Like Ours. I think the audiobook for both the French and the English version would be coming first. And then with the Grace, Grief, and Gratitude, I think that will be like at the end of the year maybe. So that's kind of, because I still have to work with my full-time job.
Okay, so you're going to be doing the English version of the audio in English.
Yeah.
Are you
The
also,
English, yeah,
are you also
the goal with the English version, it's either February or June, and then the French version will be in November of next year, the audio. So I have it like significant dates also for the release.
are you planning on doing the French audio version also yourself?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, wow.
Absolument.
Okay, now I have to ask, is there going to be a Tagalog version?
Well, there should be a Tagalog version, right? And glad that you asked, because when I was in Philippines last February, I came home, and my book is available in Amazon. They're having a hard time getting the hard copy. They could get the Kindle version, and it's also available in iTunes. So if they have Apple account, they could do, but they could never hard a hard copy. So unfortunately, Amazon is not available in Philippines, so I have to find ways how to get my book available in the Philippines, right? In Tagalog, and maybe even in my dialect, Cebuano. Oh, let's say Tagalog first, Filipino first.
It's, if you're speaking that language and you're comfortable in it, and you have a keyboard that matches that for whatever characters that are there, why not?
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question is what is the third book?
So the third book, oh my God, you read my mind. So there's a third book. So it's more of a sequel, like Life After Loss. And the reason I said that because uh some of the I belong to this, of course, because I'm a widow. I belong to this widow club. Say like, oh, what's life after loss and everything? Or when they read the Love Like Ours, one of the comments from one of the readers were saying, because I interact with them on social media, they said like, oh, were you gonna be fall in love again? Is it gonna be a blah blah blah? So the life after loss is not really falling, but it's really finding more about myself, because at the beginning, I was a kid, I was a granddaughter, then I, I was a wife, then I became a caregiver, I became a cancer patient, and I became a widow. So Jerry and I were married for 20, we've been together for 25 years. So half of my life was really with him. So now I'm just really discovering. So what's life after loss? That there's life of you have not reinventing myself, but getting know more about myself and more traveling. So that's what life after loss. Doing things that I don't think that I would be able to do, or not comfort, not like trying some foods that I don't think I could ever try and things like that. So, and fun and excitement of me, more of traveling, more of living life, and treasuring connectivity, connections with friends, building connection, creating memories. So that's kind of the concept of the life after loss. So, well, say it's on. Yeah, I'm in my head. I have all the chapters.
Well, my last question before we're going to go to how do people reach you? How do they get your books? That's going to be the second question. The first question of the end of my uh, conversation today is you met Jerry in Cebu City. How did that
Yes.
come about?
Oh, good question. So I met Cherry because he ran an ad for executive assistant. So Jerry and his American partner, they had a microfinancing business. And although I'm full disclosure, I was raised in Cebu, but most of my working experience were with expats, and specifically Germans and Europeans. And so I never really have, and like only like 5 months that I have a Filipino boss, like directly, I'm really directly reporting to. So after it's like when after I was no longer working with a German company, I was looking for a job, and that parks me. So he interviewed me actually. So he interviewed me, and it was funny because he said, "You're the first Filipina that can pronounce my last name properly." And not even asked, like I just said, a good morning, Mr. Ferguson. So he was so caught off guard with that. And I asked, like, why? But how do they pronounce your last name? So then we were laughing out loud about it. So it was more like not really an interview. And then he interviewed me. He asked my best friend, which is Dutch, one of my referrals, and because we used to work together in one of the beach resort in Cebu, like House Michelle work ethics. And Ronald said I would hire her in a heartbeat. So then he hired me, and then I converted my salary to Deutschmark. So like, oh my God, he's paying me so less. So I didn't, or dollars. So I quit, I resigned half a day, and then they tripled my salary. Then I came back working, and then we started dating. So I have to quit again. So that's the story. But then unfortunately, the business that they had in the Philippines, I didn't went well because in Philippines, it's okay to write post-dated checks and everything. So it wasn't successful, and then it came back that I became the breadwinner again, and we were there. And what hits home and deciding us to come back to US, and Red, thank you for your service because I've seen you with the uniform as well. Jerry, sir, Jerry was in the army. So and nothing being political, when 9/11 hits, we were in the Philippines, we were in Cebu. And it was morning in PI when the Twin Tower, and Jerry said, we have to go home. We have to come back home. And that triggers him to come back to US. Nothing against Missouri. I mean, I have families there. My headquarters is there for my firm, but I love to be living closer to the ocean, growing up in Cebu. So Jerry had a job right away here in Cape Cod. So we choose Cape Cod to be our home, and it's been home since September of 2003. But that was the trigger to come back to US.
Okay, we're running right up against the end of the show today. We're going to be shutting things down here very, very quickly. Michelle's website is C'est moi, Michelle Ferguson, CESTMOI, Michelle, MICHELLE, Ferguson, FERGUSON.com. So everything there, her books, everything can be found on that website. And Michelle, I thank you so very, very much for your time today, and I look forward to our next conversation. And I wish you the best of luck with your French version and continuing learning French. So take care and have a wonderful, wonderful time.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go ahead and conclude today's the Corner Bookstore. My next show starts in 20 minutes. It's called The Wise Ones, and I look forward to seeing you there. Take care, y'all. Bye now.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacqueline.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.